Did you know that businesses with trademarks grow 14 times faster than those without? But here's the problem. Over 50% of trademark applications get denied. Why? Because most business owners choose to use a brand name that isn't allowed, not even knowing it until it's too late. But don't worry. If you give me the next few minutes, I'll show you how to make sure your brand name's legal to use with my simple 3-step method so you can own your brand name, protect your business, and avoid costly lawsuits. And to make this even easier, grab my free Own Your Brand checklist, just comment checklist below and I'll DM it to you. Over the past 15 years as a trademark attorney, I've helped thousands of businesses with branding and trademarks. I've cracked the code to make this process foolproof, and in fact, over 95% of the trademark applications my clients file get approved. Step 1. What do names like Amazon, Apple, Tesla, Adidas, and Google have in common? They're all random. Bezos wanted a name starting with an A. Apples were Steve Jobs' favorite fruit. Adidas is a combination of the founder's first and last names. Tesla's named after the famous electrical engineer Nikola Tesla. Google is a misspelling of Google, meaning number 1 followed by 100 zeros. But why choose random names? Because all successful companies, whether small or big, understand that brand is the most valuable asset in your business. Brand's how you're recognized by your customers. It's a huge factor in your reputation, and whenever brand has a loyal following, people will buy just because it's your brand. So being able to own your brand name and stop others from using it is vital for your success. This is done with trademarks. But you can only get a trademark if, number 1, you use a certain type of name, one that identifies the ownership or source of your products, and number 2, it distinguishes it from all other similar products. Number 2 is the most important, which we'll get to in step 3, but for now, let's look at the first part. The types of names that work to identify ownership of your products fall into 2 categories. First, where you use a completely made up word for your brand name. For example, Adidas and Google. The fancy legal term for this is fanciful. Since the word didn't exist before, there's no risk of confusion with other uses or meanings. Customers can easily identify the name with the source of your products. Second is where you use a common known word that is unknown in connection with the products it represents. For example, Apple for computers or Amazon for an online marketplace. The legal term for this type of name is arbitrary. Since the word has no obvious meaning related to the products, consumers learn to associate the mark exclusively with the brand. For instance, when people hear Apple, they think of the tech company and computers. There are also certain types of names that you can never stop others from using with trademark protection because they don't identify the source or ownership of the products. First, generic terms that are common everyday names for products or services. These describe the category of products rather than the specific source of where they came from. For example, Apple for the fruit apple. Second, descriptive terms that describe a characteristic, quality, feature, function, purpose, or use of the products. They don't identify a product's source, but merely describe the product. For example, creamy for peanut butter or crunchy for potato chips. But this makes sense. So step 1 is to choose a random name. Step 2, your name alone isn't enough to identify the source of your products for trademark protection. You also have to use the name in a way that identifies your brand. So even if you pick the perfect name, you have to use it in the right way to get trademark protection. Here's what doesn't count. If you're using it as just decoration, for example, throwing the name on the front of a t-shirt, it can't identify the ownership or source of the products. It's just decorations. Customers don't associate the decoration with the producer of the products, but a mere feature of the product itself. Second, if you're using it as just your business name and not your brand name, this won't cut it either. If you're using the name as a title or a single work like a book or a movie or a character of the work, it can't identify the ownership either. Single titles don't identify the source, they're seen as the name of the work itself. It's different though if the name is for a series like Harry Potter, for example. Fourth, if your name's deceptive, misleading customers about its quality or origin, for example, this won't cut it either. Fifth, if your name falsely suggests a connection with a person, institution, beliefs, or symbol, this can't get trademark protection. Sixth, if your name contains the name of a living individual and you don't have their consent, this won't fly. Step 3, what if someone else is already using your brand name? Can you still use it? This is where most people get it wrong. They think a quick Google search is enough, but that won't tell you if the name is legally safe to use. Here's how to do it right. For trademark protection, your name has to be distinguished from all others. This means that your name can't be the same or similar to another selling the same or similar products. But how do you know what's too similar, and how do you know where to look for these names? Similarity refers to appearance, sound, and meaning. For appearance, do the names look similar? Do they have similar letters? Do they have similar letters in the same order? Are there minor spelling variations or rearrangement of the letters? For sound, do the names sound the same or similar when spoken? Look for vowel substitutions replacing numbers with words, consonant substitutions like K for C, for example. For meaning, do the names convey similar meanings or ideas? Are they synonyms? Are there secondary meanings if the words are not in English? What do they mean in English? For an action item, make a list of all the possible similar names you can think of based on appearance, sound, and meaning. Be over-inclusive. For the similarity of the products, ask these questions. What other products are used with each other? What products are displayed in the same aisle of a store? List all possible categories of products similar to yours. Here's really a broad way to look at this. If you're an average customer and you Google a brand name and you land on a site with a similar name and products, could you not know that you're purchasing from the wrong brand? Is it confusing to the average customer? Once you have the list, now it's time to actually do the search to find out if any of these names exist and are being used with similar products. That's not only with other registered trademarks, but also online businesses in general. So start with Google. Type in your exact name in quotes and hit enter. If the brand name you've chosen pops up and it's associated with the same or similar products or services you're trying to sell, you probably can't use the name. If you don't see any similar products or services, your next step is to search all the similar names that you wrote down previously. The closer the name and the closer the products, the more likely it is that you don't have the right to use the name. Next, repeat the process while searching domain names. Then search social media handles. And finally, and most importantly, search for registered trademarks with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, or USPTO for short. There are two ways to do this, but I'll walk you through the easiest. So first, let's go to the USPTO.gov. So we're on the USPTO.gov and we want to go to the trademark section and click on Search Out Trademark Database. We'll click the button that says Trademark Search System, and now we're in the actual search system itself. So we want to look at our list and take our list, and I'll use for an example, I'll use an arbitrary name. I'll use orange, the actual color orange, and I'll assume that we're selling toothbrushes. They're not related at all. So the first thing that I want to type in, and these are called field tags, and you don't have to know too much about them. They're actually in the checklist itself. But the first is CM, and this just will search all similar meanings, pseudonames, things like that. So we want to type in CM, colon, and then simply orange in lowercase, and we will hit the little magnifying glass, and it'll pull up all of these results. Now it's a little crazy. There's almost 4,700 results. There's no way we can actually look through these and search. So one thing that you're gonna notice is you're gonna notice that a lot of these say dead, dead canceled, and what this simply means is that these applications are either they were canceled because somebody let them go, or they didn't get accepted, or somebody might not be using it again. So we don't really care about searching those, so we kind of want to get rid of those. And the way that we do this is we simply type end, and then we're only going to look for live, not dead applications and marks. So the field tag for that is LD, and for live, it's simply we type in true, and we'll hit the magnifying glass again. And this is going to narrow our searches. So now you see we have about 1,441, which is almost a quarter of that, which is getting a little easier, but it's still a little too much to search. So right now we're just searching the name. We haven't even gotten to the similar products yet. So maybe we need to get to the similar products now to see and narrow our search if there are any similar products with this name. And the way we do that is we'll simply go up to this trademark icon up here, and we'll come down to the search ID manual. The USPTO has this great trademark ID manual. They ID every single category of products, and we can simply type in our products. So assume I'm selling toothbrushes, so toothbrushes, and I hit the magnifying glass, and it's gonna pull up all these class numbers. And I see the first one is toothbrushes. So assuming I'm just selling general toothbrushes, the class is 021. So I can go back to the search, and I can type in end again, and then I can type in the field tag, which is CC, which means coordinated class, and that's gonna search all similar products and all similar categories to my 21. And I'm gonna hit the magnifying glass again, And as you can see up here, it pulls up 430 results. Now, this is something that I can work with. And I'm simply gonna go through all the names to see if they're too similar, the same or too similar, and also look on the products as well. I can simply click on this, each one, and get more details if I wanted to. But then I'm gonna compare them, and that's how we search generally the easiest way, the USPTO. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do, assuming that I don't find any, is I'm gonna simply do the same thing with the other names I came up with. So just say, for example, ARANGE is similar to orange. I'll type that in and we'll do the search. There's no results, that's good. Maybe I go back and I do ORANG without the E, for example. And I'm simply gonna go back through my whole list and do that over and over and over again. Now it sounds like a lot, but you can do it pretty quickly and get to the final result. I also simplify this search process more with my free Own Your Brand checklist, so comment checklist below and I'll DM it right to you.